is Mark Bell from Super Training Gym with some deficit deadlifts for supertraining.tv. This is David Baffis. We are standing on two mats, approximately 2 to 3 inches off the ground, creating a greater range of motion, increasing the work in your grip, making the start of the lift harder, and also making the lockout much harder because the lift takes a longer period of time to execute. The reason why I did this lift, the reason why I chose this lift for the day, is because as of late, my form has been pretty good on my sumo deadlifts, especially in all my gear and everything. But I either hit the weight fast, or if I have to strain against it, I miss it. I'm unable to strain through a lift and still be able to hold on to it and still just be able to use brute strength and brute force to be able to finish out the lift. So I thought to myself, what's the worst possible exercise I can think of? And in talking to my brother from a different mother, Jesse Burdick, we came up with hitting some of these up. So it's the deficit deadlift. It'll build up your back tremendously. It's a brutal exercise. It's also a good way to get in and out of the gym pretty rapidly because odds of you being really great at it are going to be pretty slim. All the same rules apply. You're still trying to get your back flat. You're still trying to keep your stomach tight. I've heard in the past that the great Matt Dimmel of Westside Barbell used to get a certain weight on the bar. Let's say, for argument's sake, let's just say 500 pounds. He would do a set of 1 rep with 500 pounds, and then he would stick a mat under his feet, and then he would do another set, and so on, all the way until he got to the point where the barbell was resting pretty much just right on his shoelaces. And Matt Dimmel was a huge guy, so that must have been a very difficult lift for him to perform. But I believe Matt Dimmel was pulling, mid-8s, 830, 850, somewhere in that range, back in the late 80s, early 90s, and then also one of the first few guys to squat 1,000 pounds with pretty minimal gear back then. So the proof is in the pudding. It's a great exercise. Just kind of a matter of where you'd like to mix it in. I actually use it for max effort as well as dynamic effort. For max effort, I like to utilize a little bit of reps, again, to just kind of create more time under tension to work your grip and to work all the muscles that are involved in deadlifting. There's David getting out a pretty good lift. I think that was around 5 plates right there. I tried to do as many sets as I could on this day without a belt. Try to keep the gear to a minimum best I could. And then I added a belt for the last few sets. We get a little lazy in here. Instead of adding a plate, we sometimes just stick a bunch of quarters to the side. So that way you don't have to move the weights around quite as much. If you watch, my mid-back stays rounded slightly. You don't want that to happen. You still want that mid-back to flatten out a little bit more. I didn't really arch at all. See, I'm kind of craned over, and all the way from that mid spine all the way down to my hamstrings is rounded. I kind of got like a cat back type of thing going. I was able to finish this day with a 605 pull, which is pretty good. I'm Mark Bell, and this is Super Training Gym. This is being shot for supertraining.tv. I'm here today with David Baffis, one of my training partners. And today we did what's called a deficit deadlift, where you deadlift on a 1 to 3 inch deficit. So today we deadlifted off of 2 mats. If you're in a commercial gym and you can't find mats to stand on, you can also lift off of a 100-pound plate or possibly a 45-pound plate, maybe even 2 45-pound plates. The deficit just basically creates a further range of motion, so it actually ends up working your grip, ends up working your starting position, and it actually also ends up working your lockout. So it's a tremendous way to build your deadlift. David Baffis here, when he first started with us, what was your best pull?
My first meet, I did 523, my best pull, and I almost dropped it at the top. I got a down command right before it fell out of my hand.
523?
Yeah.
And then what did you finish with today?
Today off the deficit, I did 515 for a triple, and I held it for about 5 seconds at the end there.
That's with no gear, just wearing a belt. So he's already made some tremendous improvements. You can too. And that's it for supertraining.tv, teaching the world how to deadlift.